We went through a facilitated session that ultimately got to literally hundreds of ideas. And the ideas stretched across the spectrum. There were some that tapped into the health and welfare area. There were some that relied heavily on the education area. There were some that looked at partnering with the urban core and how the suburbanites and the urban core can help each other meet their agendas. What it came right down to is the suburban living area factored into a lot of the leading ideas that you're about to hear about, and a lot of the learning ideas that you've already heard about. But we also try to tackle just a few things that are a little bit unique to the suburban experience as well. So I'm going to take you through one opportunity that we came to, one idea out of the literally hundreds, as I said, that looked at, in fact, the way it started was a little bit self-serving, I'll admit. It started with an idea that sounded a little bit like optimize my life, which is, make my life run more efficiently for me. And we started thinking about it a little bit more expansively, and ultimately came up with an idea that we called smart home, smart neighborhood. And that was an idea that came out of a couple of issues that were voiced by the members on the panel. One of them said, my home consumes an awful lot of resources. I spend an awful lot of time in it, and there's, whether it's water, whether it's electricity, whether it's internet usage, whether it is time spent, there's an awful lot of resources that my home consumes. I know that there's waste in there somewhere, but I don't know where that is. And that led to another comment by another individual that says, in my garage, I've got a lawnmower. I use my lawnmower 3 hours a week. My neighbor across the street from me, he uses his lawnmower 3 hours a week. The couple down the road, they use their lawnmower 3 hours a week. We've all got lawnmowers. We all use them 3 hours a week. So, when it comes to a community sense, how are we getting the most out of our resources? How do we make sure that we can reduce the waste that I know is happening in my home, that I can learn from what my neighbors are doing to reduce their waste in their homes, and ultimately come to a more efficient, more effective sort of home for myself, neighborhood for everyone in the community at large. So we started wrapping ideas, and the entire opportunity within the Google Fiber network centered around the vast availability or potential use for data. And the idea that these homes that consume so many resources can also be throwing back data. Packets of information that say, here's what I'm using. Here's how efficient or inefficient I'm being as I'm using resources. And then broadening that out, it can be used to optimize how I'm using my resources so that I use less electricity fundamentally than I should be, so I use less water than I need to, so that there's more to go around, so that my own costs go down. Broadened out to a community level, what that also might mean is that at the community level, we're also aggregating data so that we have community benchmarks as to what sort of resources we should all be using. We can identify the outliers, either the people that look like best practices on the low usage side, or people that maybe look like the culprits of greater than normal water use, energy use, what have you. And then start to build a profile for how we all could behave in order to reduce some of the resources that we're using. Aggregated up, again, another level, this becomes effective on a community information sort of stage where we can use the data, model it to be predictive as to what our infrastructure needs are going to be going forward. So that we can use maybe some predictive modeling to understand when a service disruption is going to occur the moment, or hopefully several moments or several days before a service interruption happens, based on our understanding of how our resources are used, how they're consumed, and ultimately getting us to a place where across, whether it's at the individual level, whether it is at the neighborhood level or community level, or whether it's at the global level, being able to more effectively use our resources so we fundamentally use less of them. So that was probably the most unique opportunity or area that came out of the suburban living area. But again, everything had a common theme, and it all really goes back to a lot of what I've heard through the Google Fiber project, and those are improving the outcomes of our experience based on better information, reducing the cost or increasing the effectiveness of our experiences based on the ability to share and know more about how we're using things, and ultimately providing a better experience for all.